Okay, I have a practical question. Actually, I set aside time for things and sometimes I procrastinate, especially when I set aside a day for Dhamma practice. I find myself procrastinating, and then after a few hours I recognize I'm wasting time and turn it around. Any advice on how to be more time efficient? Okay. Setting aside set aside time is very good, but the thing is, when you set aside a time and you're waiting for that time to arrive, that is not good, because you're waiting. The thing is, you should set aside a time. Well, I will tell you how I do. Then there is no this is the only way. I can't say this is the only way or this is the most appropriate way, but I will tell you how I do, and then you can decide whether it's more practical. But the way I do has been good so far. What I do is, I have set aside with my kids and my family, we have 9 p.m. we have meditation every night. So that is set aside for 9 p.m. everyone has to get ready. 8:45 they have to go and do all the offerings of flowers and incense sticks, and then they light the incense sticks and the candles, and then they prepare. So the preparation is sometimes there is something that I need to tell you. It is good to prepare before you do some meditation, because what happens is we are really busy throughout the day. We are running around with raga, dvesha, moha, looking for gratification, trying to fulfill things. We are busy with work, we have commitments. So this is the normal day-to-day life. So what we do is we are running around. So say for example we were running around until 9 o'clock and sit down to meditate. You will need 15 minutes at least to settle down before you can concentrate on the karmasthana. So you're wasting that 15 minutes. So if you settle down in a different way, in a laukika way, it's not necessarily lokottara, but you go and chant some maybe pirit, some gatha, and then you settle down, you offer flowers, you light the candles, and then you're calming down little by little. Now after 10-15 minutes you're calmed down. Doesn't mean you can go to dhyana straight away. Some might be able to go, but you have calmed down to a certain extent. You're looking at the Buddha statue, maybe you're looking at flowers. It's not making you it's not giving lustful and hateful or delusional thoughts. So you're calming down little by little, and then after the 15 minutes after you have done that, when you sit down, you have calmed down. Your mind is not running around. When I say this, don't misunderstand. It's because you're so focused on things, it feels like the mind is running around. So that is why I'm using that phrase. It's not really the mind is running around. It's the problem is in you, but we can use that phrase for the moment until we properly understand what we are doing. So then when you sit down, it's easy to concentrate and easier to do the meditation. But coming back to Lucas's question, what I have set aside at 9 o'clock is the worst case scenario. So if anyone wants to do the meditation before that, they can do it. There is no problem. If they find time before that, they can do it. But this is the worst case scenario. What happens is, if they fail to do until 9 o'clock, they have to do it at 9 o'clock. So that is like a small rule set up to get used to it, so that it becomes a habit, and then ultimately it will be part of the day-to-day work. It will be part of the like eating. brushing teeth, it will become part of the day-to-day life. Then it makes it easier to walk the path, and it makes it easier for you to get to dhyana. So that is why I have set aside, because we have a lot of bad habits that have been cultivated throughout the journey of samsara, but we need to cultivate good habits as well with them, and then try to eliminate the bad habits one by one slowly. So when you cultivate good habits, then the time for bad habits gets reduced. So that is another way of doing things. So what I suggest is, and what I think is best is, set some time aside, but if you have time before that, you can use that time. And the most effective thing you can do is see Dhamma all the time. On top of that, you can do meditation and things like that. Set aside some time and do the meditation. But practically, what you need to do is, because in the samsara, what you have been doing is, you have been meditating every single minute Nicca Sukha Atta. Okay. So what you have been doing is, you have been meditating Nicca Sukha Atta in the past. So what you have done is, oh wow, so that is in a way meditating Nicca Sukha Atta practically. So you are saying, oh, Nicca is, it's good, it happens the way you like, it's good, it's valuable. So you're saying it's sukha, it's very comfortable, it's giving you comfort, and therefore it's a valuable thing and it's an important thing. That is what you have been cultivating so far in the samsara. But now, after listening to Dhamma, you have changed. Now you are trying to cultivate, or you are trying to meditate anicca dukkha anatta. So when you are trying to meditate anicca dukkha anatta, now you can't just sit down for 1 hour and just do the anicca dukkha anatta and spend the rest of the time again on Nicca Sukha Atta. Then it's not going to be very effective. So what you need to do is, what you can do is, try and focus on anicca dukkha anatta as much as you can, right? So that way, then you get used to it and you make it a habit to see the anicca dukkha anatta throughout the life, every time, everywhere you go, right? One need to be aware it's work to do. The most problem I think people have, that it will be like walk in the park, but it will not be like that for most people. I understand that there is work to do. Work is something that you have to do anyway, right? What one must understand is, meditating, when I say meditating, or when I say Indriya Bhavanava, or when I say Satara Satipatthana, that doesn't mean you sit down and do it. You can do this all the time. Indriya Bhavanava, Satara Satipatthana can be done at any time. When you're doing work, focus on what you're doing. Focus on whether raga comes into play, dvesha comes into play, and moha comes into play. When you're doing the work, you don't have to get angry. The anger or the hate or the hatred or the lustful thoughts are inside you, in your mind. It comes from your mind, right? It's not related to work. I'm not asking anyone to stop doing the work, or it's not going to affect the work. It will make it easier for you to work. Say, for example, you have work colleagues who doesn't like you, maybe, or who like to annoy you, maybe, or they don't do the work properly, or because of them you have to do more work, maybe. So in that case, you need to bring out the anicca dukkha anatta. You need to see how this works, right? It's not according to how you want it to happen. This is how life is. This is how samsara is. Now you have to do it because you have received this bhava because of the paticca samuppada you have gone through, and because of that you have received a manussa bhava, as in a human life. Now you have to deal with it. Unfortunately, you have to deal with it, and with it comes a lot of sufferings. It could be physical sufferings you have to go through. You can't do anything about it. What you can do is understand what you're going through and look at them with Dhamma, in anicca, dukkha, anatta. This is what I have to go through because of this sansara. I have to work. I can't not work because I have to earn money. I have a family. I have to earn money. I have to, in order for me to eat, right? I have to live. I need a place to live. If I need a place to live, then I have to pay. Then I have to earn money for that. So I had to do some kind of job, right? You might not like the job, and that is, again, it's not according to your like. So that is how this sansara is. There could be a day which you will like. In the workplace, it might be funny, it will be really good, but doesn't mean that even that you look at it in terms of anicca, dukkha, anatta. It's not going to make you happy every day. It's not going to fulfill you, right? And you're not going to be happy with that. Let me come back to Christian is saying, yes, I agree, but I mean that what we are doing is real work. When we meditate and develop mental factors, is not walk in the park, but work to be done. This is what I think many people do not understand. The need to go through the work, not just read, listen and idle, as they will overcome by asobana, bad mental factors, chaitasikas. If you're relating this to work to be done, as in you have to do a lot of work in order to get to nibbana, yes, I agree totally. Yes, it's not just seeing anicca, dukkha, anatta and letting everything happen. So that is where the Arya Ashtangika Marga comes into play. So the Samma Ditti, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Ajya, Vayam, Sati, Samadhi. So this, we have to make sure this happens, and then you need to make sure with the Samma Ditti, Samma Sati and Samma Vayama, we need to take these three into consideration. Exactly, first seeing what we need to be done and doing it. Exactly, yes, totally agree. So we need to make sure Samma Vayama is applied, Samma Sati is applied. So Samma Sati is the focus, the concentration, the being mindful. Samma Vayama is the effort you have to put in, right? And then use in the Samma Ditthiya. That is why these three are linked all together. So you need to use this when you're walking the path, right? So I have been wondering and when I should meditate while just learning about this practice. I have done other meditations before. I have been wondering if and when I should meditate while just learning about this practice. I have done other meditations before. You need to understand here what is your objective in terms of why are you meditating. If the objective is to calm down or be focused, any meditation can help them. But in terms of achieving nirvana or nibbana or the ultimate happiness, then you need to focus on the nibbana, as in then you have to do this karmasthana. So when I should meditate, and if you should meditate, yes, you have to meditate because this is the path. right? Samma Ditti, Vayama, Sati, Samadhi. Samadhi is the last step in Arya Ashtangika Marga, the eightfold path. So Samma Samadhi, when you get to Samma Samadhi, is when you get to the Samma Samadhi, and Samma Samadhi is the four noble dhyana, which is Arya Prathama Dhyana, Arya Dvitiya Dhyana, Arya Tritiya Dhyana, Arya Chaturtya Dhyana. So when you get to Arya Chaturtya Dhyana, there is no avidya. Then you can see everything clearly. Then you can see the path very clearly. So that is why you need to go to the Arya Dhyana and try to meditate and get to the Arya Dhyana. In the first Dhyana, there is no raga, right? So then what happens is, when you get to the Dhyana, you can contemplate. You can contemplate and get answers to your own questions yourself, especially in Chaturtya Dhyana, or even the third Dhyana. When you have Sukha Ekagrata, you don't have any disturbances, then you can focus on some question you have, problem you have, and then you can go dig deeper into it and get the real answer from yourself, from your own wisdom. So that is why it's very important, and it's easier that way to walk the path, because it will, and you will also get the real happiness. You will get the feel of the real happiness, because until then you'll be getting the happiness by the six senses, using the outside world. So from the eye, you look at images and you try to fulfill the eye or make the eye happy. From the ear, you do the same thing. You listen to songs and things, and then you try to fulfill the ear. Nose, smell, then the tongue, taste. That way you try to fulfill these from the outside sources, from the outside world, and it doesn't work. And that's just it's not the ultimate happiness. What happens is, you create a gratification mentally. You're doing a mental fabrication there, and then you're trying to fulfill your eye or the ear or the nose or the tongue or the body or the mind, but it never happens, it never fulfills. So that is what you need to see. When you get to the dhyana, you will get the real feel, you will get the real happiness, you will get the real preeti, real sukha. It's not coming from outside, it's coming from inside. That is why it's the ultimate sukha, ultimate happiness. So when you get to the dhyana, you will get some kind of understanding about nirvana. So if you are, for example, if you are in the third dhyana or second dhyana, you will get preeti sukha, and then you will understand, oh, whoever who has gone to the second or the third dhyana will know this. They will know, oh, the feeling, right? They will know, okay, I was trying to achieve happiness by these senses, but this happiness is totally different. You can't even compare this happiness. So imagine if I go to the Chaturtya Dhyana, and then Chaturtya Dhyana is the same feel as an Arihatun Vahanse. So when you become Arihat, you will have the same kind of feeling. So that is why then you get to know how an Arihatun Vahanse feels. Then you get the same kind of happiness. So then you have an idea about how an Arihatun Vahanse behaves and how the thought process works. So that is why it's important.